You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. Whoa! You're fired. All right. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
Here we go. Here we go.
Those hands together all across the building tonight. Let the devil know that you're encouraged. Let him know that you're encouraged. Let him know. Hallelujah. I don't know about you tonight, but somebody may be crying, but I come to let you know that God can make it all right. Ooh, yes. Be encouraged. Oh, he will. He'll make it all right. Yeah, yeah. Ooh. I know right now it's impossible to see. But God is gonna work it out if you just believe. Remember this one thing while you're going through.
What he said, Father.
If God delivered Daniel, guess
do the
what?
same for you.
He'll do the same for you.
Hold on, Bulldog. Be encouraged.
Hey.
Be encouraged, Bulldog. We'll
No
make it all right.
matter what's going on.
You gotta stay
Said
strong.
in his word.
Stay strong, Bulldog Nation. Man, you know, normally I play the old school when I have a little beverage, but listen, homecoming is coming up, and we got to send them prayers up, man. We can't go outside for homecoming, man. We got to send them prayers up, man. ECSU is looking halfway decent, man. We cannot lose homecoming. I already see one person in the back. I'm gonna bring everybody up that hits the link, but before I start bringing people up, let me just get this part out the way. Let me on a more serious note, let me say this. Doing this content and covering Bowie State athletics has pushed me and motivated me. And let me explain to you what I mean. Me personally, not everybody thinks this way, but me personally, I think it's crazy for people to sit on platforms and call out coaches and say, or coaches and players, and say, like, why aren't you doing your best? Why aren't you being great? Why aren't you operating at a high level and sustaining excellence? I think it's crazy for us to say that about players and coaches if we are not applying that to our own lives, right? I think it's crazy for me to sit here and be like, why aren't you being the best that you can possibly be if I'm not doing that in my own personal life? And so in that regard, starting this platform has really pushed me, because I can't say, hey, man, I expect a certain level of greatness from you, and I don't expect that from myself in my own life. So every time I fix my mouth to say something about how somebody else can be doing something better in their own profession, in their own life, I got to look at myself and say, hey, the same applies to you. Because that's just me personally. You look crazy when you say this person is not operating at their full potential. It's like, well, you got a higher standard for this stranger playing this game than you do for your own self, or this coach than you do for your own self. And so as I'm seeing what's going on in the CIAA and the CIAA sports world, and how little things here or there can take people to the next level, I'm seeing that and applying it to my own life. And so you're going to be able to visibly see that over time. So I just wanted to get that out the way. And anybody that's making content or thinking about making content, just keep that in mind. As you demand excellence from everybody else, you got to make sure you demand that from yourself. Otherwise, you look crazy. You may not realize it, but you do. And so, once again, Jay, I got somebody in the back. I'm gonna bring them up in a second. And if you want to come up, it's right here. I'm gonna leave it right there. So if you know, also the super chat is there and the cash app is there. But I'm gonna bring everybody up, and we're gonna get to this. But first, let me just say this. I'm not saying that Matt Goggins is a bad person. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm simply saying is, and I'm not even saying that he hasn't improved in his job performance. I'm not saying that either. All I am saying, shout out to Stephen Gaither. All I am saying simply is this. I've seen 3 years of Matt Goggins as an offensive coordinator. And I got to be honest with you. It's just not good enough, right? It's not good enough if Bowie State is going to compete in any significant way. And the reason why I'm making this call now, because I've had issues with his play calling and just running up the offense for a long time, as a lot of people have, and I've seen and heard it in person and through social media, right? But the reason I went ahead and made the call now, because you guys know, I haven't really said, as long as I've been doing this, that anybody should lose their job. This is really the first time. And the only reason that I'm doing this now at this point is because I sat after watching the Virginia Union game that we're going to talk about in a second. Just being 100% honest. I sat there as the game was going on and I was thinking to myself, do I want to see this for another year? Do I have a realistic expectation that it's going to be significantly better than this? Not that I think this is going to be a top 3 offense in the conference next year, but do I think it'll be a top 5 offense next year? And I'm talking about top 5 just in this conference, not in all of Division II. Like just in the CIAA, do I think with the same offensive coordinator, he would be a top 5 offense in the CIAA next year? And I had to honestly say no. It's that simple. That's the only reason why I actually got to the point where I said, you know what, this ain't gonna work, because I haven't seen anything that would make me think this is going to work. I haven't seen anything that has led me to believe that he can effectively do this job at a reasonably decent level consistently. I haven't seen anything. And so the question became that I started asking myself at the game was, if this same offensive staff were to return next season, do I believe that the offense would be better? Do I believe the offense would be decent, consistent? And my honest thought was, no. I don't see it. And we're going to talk a whole lot about that. But before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and bring up my first. What's going on, Jay?
What's going on, bro? How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
Doing well, man. Been following for a while. I like what you're doing with the platform, giving us BSU alum, an opportunity to be seen and heard. And man, keep it going, man.
I appreciate that. What are your thoughts on? Oh, let me get this out the way. Listen, I'm gonna let people say whatever it is they feel that they want to say in terms of what changes they think should be made. I am going to be clear. Some of you will probably disagree, but I personally, I do support Kyle Jackson. However, I will say he needs to make a change at offensive coordinator and fast, because if not, that's going to cost everybody their jobs. Now, some of you may disagree and may say we need everybody gone. If that's your opinion, your opinion. I'm just saying, me personally, I think we should make a change at OC, but I'm confident in Kyle Jackson. If you're not, that's fine, but I'm just getting my point out the way. Continue.
So I've been following the program for some. I follow college football for some time, and what I've seen from the last regime to this regime, it's been a stark difference, but I also as well as far as like continuity and having a guy his first year and having him go through your program for 4 to 5 years, that makes a difference as well. But I would say, from what I've seen the last 3 years, I haven't seen any part of the team that really stands out. The offense is hit or miss.
You don't think we have a good defense?
No.
Okay.
When you give up 300 rushing yards in a game, you give up 250 plus rushing yards in another game. I like when you're like giving up CIAA record numbers. I can't say that that's a strength to the team. That was what happened when we played Union last year, and I think State dropped 200 plus on us as well. Same thing on the ground. And then when teams actually did kind of lock in and just decide to just air it out, they had success as well. We saw that last week at Bluefield State. We saw that with pretty much whoever and whenever. It's kind of like whenever teams locked in on something specifically, they had success. The only type of success we've had was really against like bottom feeders, cellar dwellers, Shippensburg.
Not to cut you off, but we should have scored a lot more against Shippensburg. Just being honest.
That goes back to my point. We don't have any overwhelming strength that we can hang our hat on, not on defense or on offense. That was, in my opinion, a bottom feeder team, Shippensburg. That's a top 5.
They are. They're last place in their conference. They are.
Yeah, that's a top 5 bottom feeder team in Division II. We've seen over the past 3 years teams that we used to feed off of, and what we would call in football terms stat games, have turned into dogfights, or in situations where we just flat out lost. In the past couple of years, we're just losing to Livingstone. That back in the day was unheard of. It didn't matter who their coach was, what they had going on. That was unheard of. We never lost to Livingstone. That was a stat game.
That is true. That is true.
ECSU, same as Livingstone, same as Lincoln. Those were all stat games. Today, we're in dogfights with them. And
so let me ask you this real quick. We do have ECSU for homecoming, and they do, I'm not gonna lie, they've been playing harder. Do you think we're going to win homecoming?
I mean, it's hit or miss. There isn't any part of our game where I could say we're just going to do this and we're going to just overwhelm teams. I can't honestly say that there is a part of our team that we have. Honestly, you probably haven't even heard anyone say this. I'm really excited about our special teams. We have really, really good returners. Zero has been he's pretty much about to break one anytime. Zero's about to break one anytime. 4's been pretty solid. I'd love to see number 1 get some more returns because he looks like the fastest guy on the team. But as far as the running game, it's hit or miss. We had one strong running game, and then next week we don't really do much. Passing game, the third-year kid, number 8, he's been in the program 3 years, same offense. He's regressed.
And quick, that's something I'm going to talk about soon because
he locks in on number 4 every time. Go ahead.
I said that's something I'm going to address soon, but that's actually a pattern with this whole offensive system. A quarterback comes in, initially he looks really good, and by the time the end of the season comes, he looks completely different. Then they move on to the next guy. He looks good for a couple of games, Then by the end of the season, he looks bad. Then it's like this is the third person it's happened to. Because I don't know if you remember Amir Jenkins.
Yeah, I remember Amir Jenkins. I'll let me just continue on the quarterback situation real quick, and I think I'll be able to answer some of the things you're talking about, some of the things you brought up. So the reason some of these guys look good in the beginning, and then you said that as they got more playing time, or they followed up the following season, they didn't look good, is because the other teams had no film on them. It's pretty simple. There was no film on them, so the other teams didn't know what they were going to see. They didn't know if these guys had arm strength, if these guys were runners, if these guys had a little bit of both. They didn't have any film on them. They had film on the offense and the sets that we're running, but if the quarterback has a different skill set, it may look a lot different. So they had more film on these guys, and they were able to just lock in on their consistencies, like if they like to throw outs, if they had strength for running the ball, they would just like to lock in on that. So once they did lock in on that, they were able to take advantage of that. For example, the quarterback we have now, the backup, number 8, I mean, I'm not a defensive coordinator, but I think when you come out there and you know when it's an obvious passing down, he's throwing it to number 4. He's throwing it to number 4 every single time. And we have so much inconsistencies again at the receiver position that I think number 4 should have had a bunch of big-time games, but he just drops a lot of passes. And his success last year came against bottom feeders, like Lincoln, I think, was one of his better games. Some of the bottom feeders were some of his better games. That's where he got a lot of his stats. And that's where number 8 got a lot of his stats, against bottom feeders and against teams who had no film. The starting quarterback, he's solid, but the O-line is so inconsistent that he can't stay healthy.
Yes.
And that was the issue with Amir Jenkins. I thought Amir Jenkins was tough. That was the transfer from, I think, Sacred Heart or something like that. I thought he had a live arm. He could extend plays, and he took a lot of punishment. The punishment he took
we couldn't run the ball at all that year. Like that was the worst run game I had seen at Bowie State ever.
That was another thing. We were one-dimensional because we couldn't run the ball. So he was taking unnecessary hits because we had nothing else to throw at the defense. Now we have a little bit better running game, but because of he didn't get his chance, and they kind of moved on from him. He looks like he just stopped playing ball, which is just going to happen. Guys lose confidence, right? So the offensive line last year was a little bit better, but he didn't get a shot because they were going to give number 8 a chance. So it's kind of like, when he needed the running game to be there, the running game was non-existent, but the O-line was basically a liability, so he's out there getting killed. This year, it's kind of a little bit of the same. The O-line's a liability, so the starter's getting killed, and now the backup's in there, and he's just throwing it and locking on to his number 1 read, which is number 4, and that guy is inconsistent. I saw a play the last home game where if the quarterback would have just went through his progressions instead of locking into one guy, there was guys running wide open, but he just can't get them the ball because he doesn't have the IQ and he doesn't go through his progressions. I was a little wrong with it. Sorry about that.
Yeah, well, I would slightly disagree with that because, matter of fact, let me get into that right now. What I saw from I'm gonna just mute you up for a quick second because I can hear the car. But all right, but what I saw from Kevin Taylor when his first start against Davenport, he was a young live arm who got the ball out quick. He was very decisive. If you go back and watch that Davenport game, home game versus Davenport, I believe that was his first start. He got the ball out quickly initially. But what I believe happened with Amir Jenkins, as well as, let's say, Amir Jenkins, Kevin Taylor, and Jordan Morris, is initially quarterbacks start out confident, calm, decisive, good decision makers. Then after a while, they lose confidence. The OC plays musical chairs with who's going to play, who's going to start. The play calling is terrible and predictable. Then next thing you know, because the play calling is predictable, There's and the musical chairs. Guys lose confidence. Guys get gun shy, and they will not throw the ball. That's what I saw last year at Winston-Salem State with Jordan Morris. If you go back and watch that Winston-Salem State game with Jordan Morris, he would not throw the football. He would not throw it. And if you go back and look at Amir Jenkins, by the time we got to the Virginia Union game, you go back to the St. Augustine's game with Amir Jenkins. By the time Amir Jenkins got halfway towards the end of the season, he was holding on to the ball too long, couldn't make a decision, scared to throw the football. Then once again, Jordan Morris comes in. He's ready. He's making plays. He's lighting it up. By the time he gets to Winston-Salem State, same thing. Holding on to the ball, undecisive, scared to throw the ball. Then Kevin Taylor starting. He's looking good against Davenport. But now look at Kevin Taylor today. Kevin Taylor is gun shy. He holds on to the ball too long, and he's scared to throw the ball. He's scared to make a mistake. And guess what? This is the third straight quarterback that has happened with in this program. The third straight. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. You still there? There we go.
Yeah, I'm still there. So the last kid they had, his first quarterback, actually proved that this offense works. The one that got signed to the league, Dion. I think his name was Dion.
Golat? Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
If you saw the way he played, same exact offense, same exact play calling. He got the ball.
Well, he wasn't the offensive coordinator for Golat. He's been the offensive coordinator the last 2 years. He was on the staff,
I believe he was OC. He just was there for like 3 weeks. If I'm not mistaken, he was the OC. He came in super late. And Golat and another guy was fighting over that position, and Golat won out. And once he got that opportunity, same offense, Golat was spreading the ball around. And through spreading the ball around, teams couldn't lock on to a receiver. He was hitting guys in the windows because they were running a lot of slants. Because of that RPO forced the linebackers to come up, he was throwing the slant right behind him, and we were just eating teams up. We were getting a lot of yards. And he looked really good in the offense. That's what that film got him to the league. Got him signed. Same offense.
Okay, so my question would be this. Why hasn't it worked the last 3 years? With 3 different
to answer your question, the team isn't as good. And that's where I was talking about I can't hang my hat on either part of the team. The only thing that I told you I could say that I was a little excited about was the special teams, because we were having big chunk returns and we got some guys that can run a little bit. That's the only part of the team I said that's consistent. And to end my long-winded explanation, I think it may be time to go a different direction at head coach, because I don't see anything changing next year. We had a ton of transfers this year, a lot of D1 rejects, small FCS schools, a ton of transfers. And all he's going to do is the same thing he did this year. And I don't see any difference. We lost our best offensive lineman. He ended up at UTSA, and he started for them. So, I mean, retention is also an issue. So I don't know if we're going to.
I got to talk to you, James Young, for sure. But keep going.
Yeah, so
okay, he's a head coach. Do you you have anybody in mind?
I would have to say somebody who's already had success. There's talent out there. Somebody who knows the recruiting grounds. Somebody who already has success. The transfer portal makes it easy to win right away. We've seen it happen. We played Delaware State, and that's a totally different team now from what we played last year. Like, we beat them to sleep last year. Honestly, we should have scored a lot more last year on them. This year, it's a
Yeah,
totally
we
different
score a
team.
lot more than a lot of people, though, honestly.
Right.
That's
They
the story
were.
of
They
our
were.
program right now. We should have scored more.
We looked like the FCS team against the Division II team last year when we played Delaware State. That's how big of a difference in talent we had compared to them. Our lines aren't supposed to be able to compete against their line. Our O line was holding up, and our D line was getting after the quarterback. But that's a whole nother subject. But I would say somebody who knows the recruiting grounds, who can recruit, and who can just go out there and bring talent in. Transfer portal makes it easy for that transition to be done, and this can go. I don't know if bringing Kyle Jackson back will make a difference. To be honest, man, I'm completely transparent with you because we've seen the same thing every year on both sides of the ball. Our D line is still really, really undersized, and I just don't know what's going to happen. We're just going to bring in a whole bunch of small school transfers, JUCO guys. I mean, this next year would be 4 years with his guys. That would make year number 4, if I'm not mistaken.
No, this is year 4. Next year will be year 5 for Kyle Jackson.
This is year 4 for Kyle Jackson?
Yeah, this is 4th year.
This will be year 4, so he's had 4 years of his guys. Now, I remember when Wilson was there, he got a little bit of a longer leash, because that first year they went to the chip, and that was because those are Coach Wilson's and Coach Jones's players. Coach Wilson, those are Coach Jones, and what's the other coach? Those are his players. They recruited them. So Wilson was able to basically inherit a team that was loaded on defense, top 5 defense nationally, and just needed a little more of a shot in the arm on offense. So he got a long leash. He had almost 6 years before they went to the chip. Say after that, I think he had 3 losing seasons in a row. And most serious programs, when that happens, you lose your job. But Wilson got lucky, and I don't see that trajectory with Kyle Jackson.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if 3 straight
now.
champions. I don't know if 3 straight can be luck. You got to be some kind of good to get 3 straight.
No, I'm talking about prior to him getting to the chip. There were 3. He had 3 straight losing years.
Oh yeah,
look at their records. I believe it was. Yeah, most coaches. When I said 6 years, that was the 6 years when he went to the chip. Most coaches don't get that long of a leash for them to get the chip. Even though coaches should get better opportunities. In today's, what do you say?
I said, especially not in this portal era, you don't get 6 years. You might get 3.
No, because it's easier to have the guys that you have, identify holes, and plug those holes with transfer portal players. It's easier. There's a lot of transfer portal players who have good film, who overplayed their hand, thought they were going to go to a bigger school. They've sat in the portal. It was crickets, and then they were like, okay, well, I want to play ball. This is my opportunity. That's happening all over. Football, basketball, baseball, but especially football because it's limited scholarships now. A lot of guys who played, have good film, and are upgrades end up playing Division II, Division III, freaking NAIA because they overplayed their hand in the portal. They thought they were going to go to Michigan or freaking Florida State, and it didn't work out because those schools were grabbing FCS All-Americans. Those schools are grabbing, you know what I'm saying? Those schools were looking for really good players too. So guys overplay their hand and they end up just sitting in the portal. So it makes it easier to. And I haven't seen that with Kyle Jackson. I've seen the team get worse and worse and worse. And then I also seen the team kind of lose that spark. I don't see that enthusiasm out there. So we definitely need somebody who knows the stomping grounds. Go ahead.
I said, what year did you graduate from? What year did you go to Bowie?
I was at Bowie from 2008, and I transferred back, and I ended up graduating 2014, winter 14.
Okay, yeah, okay. Are you showing up to homecoming this year?
Oh yeah, man! I dropped that $100 on the alumni tent. I spent a couple dollars, man. Just come out.
Yeah, I'm getting alumni too. I'm
Okay,
being there.
I'll definitely link up. I'll definitely link up with you, man. I'll be there.
I'll be going back and forth.
Um,
But yeah, I'm doing that tent though for sure.
yeah. I had to get the vibes, like all the new stuff that's going on. I'm not a fan of that with the 6 p.m. But I just wanted to just try to, soak it in a little bit. I missed the past couple years, and I just want
Tell
to
you
soak
what,
it
they
in a
better
little
not
bit.
lose. I tell you that much.
Man,
That's
it's
something
not
like
going to
that.
be. It's not going to be what we think it's going to be, man. ECSU is playing confidently, and
That is true.
a confident team is that dangerous team.
It's like at this point, I just want to win. It don't got to be a blowout. We can win by 1 point, but we got to win. At this point, just don't lose. At this point.
It's important that we try to get this dub. Well,
All right. Well, Jay, I appreciate you calling in. Definitely tap in at homecoming in that VIP tent. You were breaking up a little bit. I'm going to run through this, and if you're still here, I'll bring you back up. But also, anybody else, remember, the link is there for you to call in. I'm going to run through some stuff, and hopefully I can bring up some more people. And so as I was saying, shout out to Jay. Once again, if he's still there when I get through this, we'll bring him back up. Hopefully his sound is working a little bit better by then. And so, once again, the Virginia Union game and why I reached the decision that we have to go in a different direction offensively is simple. What's taking place is simply not good enough. It's just not good enough. Like I don't think you can justify being an offensive coordinator at the Division II level. Like, this is not middle school. It's not even high school. I don't know how you can justify being an offensive coordinator at the Division II level. And it takes 3 years for you to consistently use the I formation, use the pistol, use a fullback in the run game. I don't know how you can justify 3 years in. We're just seeing some sort of pre-snap motion 3 years in. 3 years in, we're still not using tight ends. I don't know how you can justify that. That's ultimately that's the problem. If you look at the Union game, the offense in the first half was better in terms of, and this is how low the bar has been lowered. When I say the offense was better in the first half against Union, mind you, we did not have any points at halftime. It was 10-0 at halftime. And that's really the sad part of this game. Bowie State's defense came to play versus Union. They came to play. They were balling out. They held Virginia Union to 10 points at halftime. The problem was we had 0. Now, to be fair, we should have had a touchdown, but there was a drop in the end zone on 4th down, which led to us having 0. But at the same time, number one, this is another indictment. How is it that we're 3 years in and we're just now seeing in the red zone, you roll the quarterback out and make him a dual threat with the pass or the run, and voila, somebody's open in the back of the end zone. Why are we just seeing stuff like this in the 3rd year? I don't understand that. And once again, why are you not using the tight ends? Because the drop in the back of the end zone was by the freshman fullback. Maybe if you throw that to Kyrie Scott, it's not a drop. because he's an upperclassman and he's a tight end. He's a trained pass catcher. Or even I think the guy Isaac. Why aren't we using the guys that are on the team to catch the ball? Once again, me personally, I think we need a new OC. And I'm going to run through, because I've done some research, I'm going to run through some guys who I think could come in and fix this offense. Because once again, I support Kyle Jackson just because I've been watching and I've seen him grow as a head coach, and I've seen the overall growth of the team outside of the offense. And so what I'm saying is we need a new offensive coordinator. I know other people have other opinions, and there's a lot of stuff swirling around, but as of now, where I'm at is we need a new OC. Now, if other things are done, then we'll revisit it. We'll talk about that. But for right now, hold up. Everybody has plays they want to run. If you have a group of guys who can't execute the plays, you now have to run dummy plays or easier plays so they can I wouldn't even necessarily word it like that, but what I will say is this. It doesn't matter what system you have or what system you want to run. What matters is what personnel do you have? And how can you score points with the personnel that you actually have? Because everybody has a philosophy or an idea of what they want to run. But as the offensive coordinator, it's your job to move the football, possess the football, and score the football. So at the end of the day, your philosophy and what you would like to do doesn't really matter if you can't score points. And that's the issue with the offense. We cannot score points. It's really that simple. The defense played probably the best game anybody in the CIAA will play against Virginia Union and Curtis Allen in that rushing attack you'll see in this year by far. Because even in the game that they lost to Edward Waters, they lost to Edward Waters in the shootout. Edward Waters wasn't stopping them. This was by far the best defensive performance against Virginia Union, and we wasted it because we scored a grand total of 7 points. 7. Once again, look at the first possession of the game. 3 and out. Look at the first possession of the second half. 3 and out. Even bad offensive teams, if they don't do nothing, they try to come out with something that looks good to start the game and to start the second half. Here it is. We are on the road at Union. I think the number 17th ranked Division II football team in the nation. And it's a 10-0 game. Should have been a 10-7 game. You come out in the third quarter because you got the ball first to start the second half and score a touchdown. It's 10-7. They start to get nervous. They start to get tight. We come out in the third quarter and go 3 and out. Let's talk about that possession right before the half. First down, everybody and their mama know you're going to try to run the ball in the red zone to score. They stuffed that. Then you decide, why don't we try to get the quarterback to go over the top? Like, that's your new wrinkle? Try to have the quarterback jump over the – come on, man. So then you do get the drop, but the drop is on fourth down once again. You could have ran the rollout on third down. It's come on, man. But the most egregious thing that I saw was this. It is a 17-7 game with about 8 minutes left in the game. Bowie State has the ball. It is 4th and about 2. And so we're going to go for it because it's a 2-possession game, right? We're going to go for it because it's a 2-possession game, right? However, right before we're about to go for it, we call a timeout. We call a timeout and then punt the ball. First of all, it's a 2-possession game. About 8 minutes left. You're around midfield. There's no guarantee you're going to get 2 possessions with that Virginia Union rushing attack. But hey, if you want to take your chances and punt the ball and say that you're going to stop them twice, okay. I mean, I don't agree, but okay. But what you cannot do in a 2-possession game is go out there to go for it on 4th down, call a timeout, and then punt the ball. Because now you have wasted a timeout. And this is not the first time we have done this. There have been several occasions this year where we put out the offense on 4th down as if we're going to go for it. Then we call a timeout and punt. So we waste a timeout for nothing. Now, this is my personal philosophy, right? Once you decide in the game that you are trailing that you're going to run the offense out on 4th down and then you call a timeout, you have to go for it after you call the timeout. Otherwise, you have wasted a timeout. Because if you were going to punt, you could have just ran out there and punted the football. Or if you were going to punt, take the 5-yard delay a game and still punt it. You don't call a timeout to punt the football. Yes, ran the clock out. That's bad coaching. His time man. Yes. If you've been Big Drew, if you've been paying attention, several times this year, he has done that. You send the offense out on 4th down, then you change your mind, call a timeout, and punt the ball. If you run the offense out there on 4th down and you change your mind and you're going to punt, just tell them don't snap the ball, let the clock run out. Take the 5-yard penalty and then punt the football. But you don't waste the timeout. Once again, in my opinion, once you call timeout, you have to go for it because you done wasted the timeout. Once you call timeout, you need to be coming up with the best play of your life. James, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You can put the offense out there and pump fake like you're going to go for it to try to get the defense to jump. Right? But my thing is this. Once again, if you're in a 1 or 2 possession game in the second half and you are down by 1 or 2 possessions, you need all of your timeouts. So if you decide not to go for it, delay a game is 5 yards. Take the 5-yard penalty and keep the timeout. And once again, this is not the first time that he's done this year. There have been several times he calls a timeout just to punt. It's a 5-yard penalty. But here's the thing. You know where the ball is before you send the offense out there. Before you send the offense out there to theoretically try to see if they'll jump, you know where the ball is spotted. And so if you don't want to take the 5-yard penalty, if they don't jump, then just punt the ball. But you can't keep wasting timeouts. Yes, down 2 possessions, about 9 minutes left, around the 50. You have to go for it against a Union team that can run the ball like that. You also especially have to go for it after you done called the damn timeout. It's that simple. You called the time, you've wasted a timeout, you have to go for it now. It's that simple. This also reminds me of what game? Oh, I think this was the Virginia State game. This was the Virginia State game, I believe. Another 1-possession loss with multiple empty trips in the red zone. Once again, I'm at the game in person. And so I remember distinctly. We're in the red zone. We go for it on 4th down. We don't get it. He is going back and forth with the referee. And I lied to you not. He said to the referee, the sticks said 3rd down. Read between the lines. What is he saying? He's saying that in a 1-possession game, after you have lost 3 straight and you're in the red zone, he's saying to the referee, he did not know it was 4th down. That's a problem. It's a 1-possession game. You go for it on 4th down, and you thought. How do you not know that it's 4th down? You don't remember how many plays you have called? It doesn't matter. Let's just say the change did say 3. You don't know how many plays the offense has ran? I really want y'all to think about this. This is a 1-possession game. You're in a position to tie the football game. This is after you've lost to Delaware State, you've lost to Livingstone, you've lost to Winston-Salem State, you've lost to Fayetteville State. You have lost 4 straight games. You have Virginia State at home, who has beaten you 2 years in a row, including blowing you out on your own homecoming. You have an opportunity to tie the game. You have the ball in the red zone, and you don't know how many plays you have ran. It doesn't matter what the scoreboard said, what the stick said. You are in charge of the offense, and you don't know how many plays the offense has ran. And you've just lost 4 straight games. You need a win, and you need one bad. And you have a chance to tie the game, and you don't know how many plays the offense has ran when you call the plays. That's the part I don't get. You call the plays, and you don't know how many plays have been ran, and you call the play. Come on, man. There's no excuse for that. I don't care if the referee walked up to you personally and said, hey, coach, it's second down. I don't care. You should have said, no, it's not second down. I called 3 plays already. And so with that being said, I once again, I've done the homework. I've done the due diligence. And once again, guys, listen, the link is here. Come on up. We can talk about it. But once again, I've done the due diligence and I've done some research in terms of who should we bring in as our new OC. Now, some of these are very realistic. Some of these are long shots. Because when it comes to bringing in people to be a part of a staff, a lot goes into it. What is the pay? Does this seem like a lateral move? Do you want to come in and be under a coach who's on a potential hot seat? Do you want to come in and be under a coach that's, relatively young? All that goes into it. So I have a list. Some of them are realistic, in my opinion. Some of them may not be. But we're going to go through this. So the first guy that I was looking at, who could come in and save the offense was a guy by the name of, we talked about him before. I'll talk about him very quickly once again. Joel Hirsch. He's the offensive coordinator at Lincoln University. Right? He was at Fort Valley State. The coach at Fort Valley State went on to North Carolina A&T. For whatever reason, he did not transition with them. Now, Lincoln is 0-8, haven't won a game. And if you look at their points per game, it's not a lot. But once again, if you look at the schedule and you look deeper in the numbers and you look at the play design and play call, okay. 21 against Shaw, 14 against Winston, 14 against Duquesne, bad against Lincoln, 27 against Bluefield, 21 against Union, got mollywopped at ECSU's homecoming, right? And so, listen, this is not the greatest offense in terms of lighting it up, but listen, it's a low bar when you look at, our offense. And once again, it's about realistically who can you get. And it's looking like Lincoln is going to go winless this year. They're not going to win a game. They're going to go 0-10, which means there could be a change, which means this, potentially Joel will be looking for a job. And so based on that, I said this could potentially be a guy that we look at in terms of he might realistically actually want to take the job. I'm trying to click over to the passing numbers. It's acting crazy, though. All right, so that's one person. Also, if you go back and look at the numbers that they had at Fort Valley State, their offense, they scored a lot. So that's one guy, right? Next, so the head coach at Langston. I didn't look at that. I got to look into that. That's a good suggestion. I'll look at that. Coach of the offense, a new offensive coordinator. That's what we're looking at. Now, if other changes are made, then I have other ideas and lists for that, but we're not at that point yet. So right now we're just talking about OC. That was one. Here's another one. Another realistic option at OC. Where's he at? Here we go. I believe this is him. Is this him? Yeah, here we go. Another potential option at offensive coordinator. is Glenn Reese at WSSU. If you've been paying attention, the Winston-Salem State faithful are not happy with Robert Massey. They want Massey gone. And so if they get what they want, Glenn Reese is going to be in need of employment. And if you look at what Glenn Reese has done with Dalen Lee and that passing attack, that's something we can work with. That's something we can get behind. Now, if I'm going to be real, Winston-Salem State doesn't run the ball enough for me, but they pass it a lot and they score a lot very quickly. Running the football in time of possession is a slight weakness, but once again, we got to go off potential to actually take the job. So that's another one. I like Glenn Reese. And once again, I think Glenn Reese will be available. All right. But if you look at the numbers, look at this. Only 17 against Tuskegee, but 28, 51, 33, 28, 34, only 13 against Shaw. Yikes. 42, 27. So they score points. A lot of points. Consistently. They put the ball in the air. Let's go a little bit deeper. Look at the statistics. Did I not click on it? All right, here we go. Not 2019, 2025. All right. They're scoring 30 points a game. We've scored 30 one time, and that was against Bluefield. And everybody's scoring 30 on them. 30 points a game. They're rushing for 167 yards a game, passing for 206. 21 passing touchdowns, 35 rushing. 37 total touchdowns on the year. Mind you, there's 10 games a year. So 30 touchdowns on the year is 3 touchdowns a game. They have 37 touchdowns, 2 games left. Once again, they don't run the ball enough, and they don't possess the ball nearly enough, but they do score, and they score in bunches, and they score quickly. Third down could be better. So, that it is what it is. But there's one right there. All right. Once again, those might not be the greatest options, but listen, those are the more realistic ones in terms of people who could potentially actually take the job. Right? Now, let's look into some other potential people who may take the job. And now we're going to look at some D3 guys, right? Because once again, you got to look at who might actually take it, right? So now we're going to go ahead and go down to Division III. Yeah, I dug deep. I done some research. Next, we have Ryan Fleetwood, who is the offensive coordinator at Division III, Salisbury University, right down the road. He's been an offensive coordinator on the D3 level for 7 years. He's been at Salisbury for 24 years. So he's been coaching a long time. Maybe he wants to move up to Division II. Maybe. But let's look at the offense at Salisbury. And this is why I'm saying, hey, Ryan Fleetwood, maybe let's look at it. Let's look at the numbers. 2025, 48 points a game. I know you're saying it's D3, but hey, they're a D3 school, playing other D3 schools, and they lighten their ass up, right? They're running for 309 yards a game, passing for 182 yards a game, 33 rushing touchdowns on the season, 14 passing, 491 yards a game, 53% on third down, 37 red zone possessions, 30 red zone touchdowns. But let's go a little bit further. Let's look at the individual stats. Look at the rushing stats. You got 3 different guys with over 300 yards. Let's look at the passing. Quarterback is throwing for 167 yards a game. He has 13 touchdowns on the year. He's completing 60% of his passes. I mean, listen, it's not lighting the world up, but it's still it's higher than what we got going on right now. It is a run-heavy system, right? And it is a D3 system. But once again, you have to look at who would actually take the job. Right? Another person who could potentially actually take the job, because it is a move up from Division 3 to Division 2, would be Mike Weand, the offensive coordinator at Susquehanna College or University. Once again, another Division 3 program. But he's been coaching since 2018. He's the offensive coordinator. He's coached running backs, wide receivers, and quarterbacks since 2022. Let's look at Susquehanna's offense. $33, $56, $22, $27, $69, $56, $69 again. Beat the brakes off of Catholic. And so let's look deeper at the stats. 47 points a game. 212 rushing yards a game. 300 passing yards a game. 24 passing touchdowns, 18 rushing. 500 yards of offense a game. 57% on third down. 35 red zone possessions, 27 touchdowns. Once again, this is Division 3, but once again, they're playing other Division 3 schools. Also, you have to look at who could potentially actually want to take the job, right? Look at the quarterback right here. 73% completions, 215 yards a game, 18 touchdowns, only 1 interception. I could use some of that. So those are some people that's true. Offensive got to go. Strength to the program. Got to get better. Yes, got to get better. O-line coach. That's the thing. That is an indictment on. I mean, that's not a good look for Jackson. I have Goggins there for 3 years. Like you should have put. You should have moved on from Goggins but it is what it is. And so those are some guys who I think could make a significant improvement on the offense that could actually potentially want the job, right? There's going to be drawbacks to all of them, right? Some of them, never coached at the D2 level. Some of them got certain flaws in this, that, and the third, but they're more likely to take the job, right? Now let's look at some guys who you would like but who, you know, may not be interested in this job because it may be looked at as, you know, a lateral move, right? So this guy I like a lot. If we could get him, that would be awesome for the offense. The thing is, once again, what's the likelihood of him taking the job? Just because he might look at it as a lateral move, he may even look at it as a step down. But let's check this out. We got a brother, Marcel Quarterman, assistant coach, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach at Kutztown University. It'd be awesome to bring this guy in. I ain't gonna lie. 11th season as an assistant coach, 5th as an offensive coordinator. Hey, let's look at the numbers of this offense led by Mr. Quarterman. And once again, this is Division II. 51, 34, 46. They put 49 on Shepherd. They put 49 on Shippensburg. They put 34 on Lock Haven, 43 on Millersville, and 41 on Westchester. They lighten everybody up in the PSAC. Lighten them up. So this is, once again, and all these coaches are within the Maryland, Virginia, Pennsylvania area. All of them. For the most part, right? Let's look at the statistics for this offense. 43 points a game in Division II play, not Division III. 43 in Division II. 221 rushing yards a game, 215 passing. So balance. 28 rushing touchdowns, 15 passing. 57% on third down. 36 red zone possessions, 28 touchdowns. Then let's look at the quarterback. 66% completion percentage. 15 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Once again, the issue here would be likelihood to take the job, right? That's why, yeah, I understand that. Yeah, you're not going to go from the PSAC to the CIAA unless it's to be the head coach. But you're not going to go offensive coordinator. Like, so this is not likely. But, hey, I like the, not likely. But, exactly. Coach Wilson should have called him yesterday. Because, man, Coach Wilson is having the same problem we're having. The offense is not, it ain't it. But, yeah, Coach Wilson need to call him for sure. But, yeah, that's why I didn't do him at first. Notice we're at number 5 now because I'm like, it's not likely, but, man, if we could figure it out somehow, that would be nice. So now we have another one. Not likely, but you're just like, why not throw it out there, Let me see. Where we at? I know I got another one. Here we go. This one I think could be likely just because, and I could be disrespectful just because I'm from the area and, but the offensive coordinator at Frostburg. Now, once again, I could be biased because I don't got a whole lot of, I don't hold Frostburg in this high esteem just because I'm from the area. I know people that went to Frostburg. I remember, Frostburg was never something that we looked at from Baltimore, like, oh, Frostburg. So it's like, I could be wrong, though. But me personally, I could see somebody moving from, and I see somebody in the back. We'll bring them up in a second after I go through this one, right? I could see somebody potentially leaving Frostburg to come to Bowie because, I mean, it's Frostburg, right? So let's look at him real quick and I'll bring up the person that we got. Ken Emmons at Frostburg. 5th season. He was at Stevenson, which is Division III. And now, here's the thing, though. Frostburg is his alma mater, so that could be, you know. And he did start at quarterback, you know, for Frostburg. So just being real, you know, as we go through these candidates, they become less and less likely. But it's just like, hey, you got to throw nothing beats a failed in a try, right? So let's look at Frostburg State's offense. They beat Shepherd. Shepherd must be bad this year. They put 41 on Shepherd, 42, 21 on West Liberty, 55 on West Virginia Wesleyan, 33 on Concord, 13 against Glenville State, but that's always a good program, 32 on Charleston, 31 on Wheeling. Then you look at the stats. 33 points a game. 176 rushing yards. 239 passing yards. 21 passing touchdowns, 12 rushing. 415 yards a game. 42% on third down. This is a little bit of a problem. 39 red zone possessions, only 20 touchdowns, but hey, that's still more than us. Well, once again, not necessarily likely, but you know, you got to throw all the names out there. So I see somebody in the back. I'll go ahead and bring them up now. Based on the name and the picture, this could be a troll, or it could be somebody just not trying to be identified. I'll give you a short leash based on the picture and the name. All right, go ahead. I'm listening.
Hello, Clarence. How are you? Are you doing well?
Yes. You got 30 seconds.
That's good. Well, I was scrolling on the beautiful YouTube page, and I came across your show, so that's very nice. And you're talking about a lot of the game. You know, we love the game, and we want honestly the Bobcats to do well. But here's the thing: I don't think that they're going to do too well. Honestly, I don't think they're going to do too well. Honestly, I think that a lot of these other people.
Hold on. Let me stop you right there. Are you a Bowie State
What was that?
graduate that's trying to hide your identity?
Oh, what is that?
All right, man. Some told me not to bring him up, but I know for a fact that there are some Bowie State people who want to speak, but they don't necessarily want to be identified. So I thought maybe that might be one of those people. But once you go with the voice and everything, like at this point, I'm like, there must be a troll. So I'm just, okay. Like, come on, man. Like for real though. I'm thinking like, okay, this is let me see what's going on. Oh, okay. They're talking. I'll give you 20.
Oh, you're going to give me 20. Well, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but you've got like 3 viewers. And the fact.
All right. That's a troll. Somebody got way too much time on their hands. Like, honestly, I thought it was. It don't matter. Let's let me think. Do I have another person? And I got 42 viewers. Some of them on Twitter, by the way. It don't matter how many I got. You trying to get on up here so you can get some attention, which means you can't get. Exactly. Like, you can't be that bored. There's no way you're that bored in life. You know? But whatever. I ain't worried about it. You can't, but seriously, bro. How are you that bored? Now, this one is a very, very long shot. And I'm not even sure this would even make sense because I don't know whether or not this person is called plays. I don't know. But I figured, hey, if you want to be the best, why not bring in people that come from that high pedigree and see what they can do? So once again, this one is a flyer, like an extreme flyer. I'm going to be real with y'all. This is a flyer, right? But let me show you. Where is it at? Here we go. Alex Bell at Delta State University. Now, once again, my bad. Excuse me. Now, once again, the reason this is a flyer is because he is not the offensive coordinator, obviously. Because if he was the offensive coordinator, I mean, it'd be a waste of time. There's no way he would. But he's not the offensive coordinator. That's what I'm saying. There's a possibility. But once again, I don't know what experience he has calling plays. But once again, he comes from Delta State. This is the second year. He's been wide receivers coach. The wide receivers are putting up numbers. He was the associate head coach at Union College in the past. Once again, this is a flyer because this is not the offensive coordinator. This is the assistant. He's the wide receivers coach at Delta State. But once again, this is the Gulf South Conference. 31 points, 41. They lost to UNC Pembroke. That's strange. 20 Fort Valley, they squeaked out one. 45, 51, 41 against West Alabama. Once again, this is not the offensive coordinator, but this is a flyer. You're like, because you got to get somebody in there, Somebody. Okay, let me see. I see somebody. Okay, this seems like a actual person. I'm going to go ahead and bring him up. Let's see. What's going on?
Well, I'll tell you that your show has like very low ratings, worse than Kimmel, worse than
Is this the same person?
worse than a lot of these fake news media people.
John Bobcat, did you go to Bowie State University?
Excuse me. Hold on. You're being so disrespectful. Honestly, I think that's quite racist what you're doing. It's so racist. How racist are you? You're like such a racist.
Bro.
Don't muzzle me. Don't muzzle.
There's no way. This is the same person with that much free time to create a completely different profile, change the name, change it to a black person with dreads, right? So you thinking like this somebody that actually might have went to Bowie. I do. But if you saw the picture, it's like, I'm like, okay, this could be a former player or something. This dude is like, there's no way this person is that bored to come back with a black name and a black picture. Still using it. Like, come on, man. People are really that bored. Don't make no sense. But anyway, it can be, but it's like, who? I guess I was thinking like, who would be doing that? Like, we are talking about Bowie State football. Like, like I can understand if this was a political show or something like that. Apparently, I could understand if this was like a political show or something like that. But it's not. So it's just like, what are you doing? Let me see something. Hold on. I forget how you can bring somebody up without bringing them up. It's been a while since I did this. Let me see something. But it's the same person from earlier. So let me see something. Yep, exactly. Yep. But okay, we got Jay back. This is the same Jay from earlier. What's going on, Jay? Jay may not be ready.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Huh?
Great. I think it was some connectivity issues earlier. What do you think about
Yeah,
bringing back? I think earlier. What do you think about bringing back?
You're still going in and out though, probably because you're driving from location to location. You probably gotta like sit in one spot.
Can you hear me now?
It's still going in and out. You probably just gotta pull over for a second. It should be fine. That's crazy though. Who has the time to pull up a fake Donald Trump profile? Like of all things, that's motherfuckers is bored, man. Honestly, what I think it was somebody who went to Frostburg and they was like scrolling through and just seeing somebody talking about Frostburg, so they just, I don't know. Say that again. All right, well, still got some issues going on with Jay, but trust and believe. We'll have another one of these again, especially depending on the results of homecoming. And look, God forbid, depending on the results of Lincoln. I don't even want to talk about that because, I mean, listen, at that point in time, unless they pull off a miracle and beat Virginia State, Lincoln will be 0-9, on the verge of going 0-10. And what absolutely cannot happen is we can't be Lincoln's only win of the year. That can't happen. We can't lose homecoming. Because although Elizabeth City has looked better, they have, but they're in the same boat we in. Because we've been in most of the games we played. We just haven't won them. So us at home got to win that game. And it's homecoming. And we only have 2 wins. Man, speak for yourself. This season went long. This season took forever. Loss after loss after loss. This season took forever. You know, it was a long season. And the sad part about it is when you look at Virginia State and Winston-Salem and how things shaked out, the opportunity was there. Man, yes, they did. They put Man, they whooped up on Lincoln for homecoming. They put it on last week, and so they feeling good about themselves. But they going to back-to-back homecomings, thinking they're going to spoil back-to-back homecomings. But hey, we can't lose that game. At this point, the best we can do is 4-6. And listen, at this point, man, I'll take 4. 4 ain't good enough, but I'll take 4 over 3. Yeah, I wasn't shocked that they did that because, I mean, once again, Lincoln, I said several times, I don't think Lincoln going to win the game this year. I said some potential ones could have been home versus Shaw. Shaw put up what? 35 on them? And I said potentially was ECSU at home for homecoming. ECSU put up 6. Oh, my Lord. Man, you talk about a bad homecoming. You let a, 1 or 2 win ECSU coming in, put 50. Man, that's embarrassing. Embarrassing. But hey, I definitely appreciate all the participation in the chat. And I appreciate Jay for coming up. We had a good one. Once again, this one we were just focusing on OC. There's a whole lot of talk and interesting things going on. So, depending on what happens with homecoming. Exactly. I need to figure out how to get one too. Matter of fact, I gotta talk to y'all, but I just almost forgot. I just figured out. I mean, I just got me a Union jersey at the Union game. And the only reason I got one is because as time goes on, I'm just going to be a lot more serious of a platform. And I have a vision of a whole man cave / studio where it's going to be a whole lot of different CIAA paraphernalia in there, right? And so at the game, what Union was doing, which I thought was smart, a whole lot of the old uniforms, the old jerseys, the Russell ones from back in the day, they're selling those for like $30 a piece. So I got a Union jersey yesterday at the game that I can use and put up once I get the house in the man cave. It's going in there. I looked on eBay. There's several old CIAA Winston-Salem Russell uniforms on eBay. I'm gonna purchase one of them with some Salem ones. That's gonna go up there. I saw a couple of Bowie ones on eBay. I'm gonna get one of them too. Oh, ECSU does it in person? Bet. That's gonna be a reason for me to go to ECSU next year, especially since I haven't been to ECSU yet. That's another mission, to go to every CIAA school except Bluefield. Bluefield ain't been around long enough. I don't have no interest in going to Bluefield, honestly. But I've been to most. At this point, I went up to Shaw. I went to Union. I went to State. I went to Livingstone. I went to WSSU. I even drove past St. Aug's. I'm going to finish out the season going to Lincoln. That's going to be 7. I still got to get to Elizabeth City, Johnson C. Smith, at some point, Claflin, I go there. They don't have football, but they do have basketball. So at some point, I try to swing by Claflin. And who am I missing? Oh, Fayetteville State. I haven't been to Fayetteville State either. So probably next year I'll try to do Elizabeth City and Fayetteville. I'll do Lincoln next week. Get them off the list. But one thing I was looking for on eBay that I could not, two things I was looking for, and hopefully, if things go in the wrong direction at St. Aug's, maybe they have a sale. I'm gonna go to the sale because I want to get a St. Aug's some paraphernalia, like a real jersey, football or basketball, maybe even a helmet, right? Also, now this stuff, I'm not gonna lie to you, this stuff is probably long gone, but I still want it. If I could ever find some old St. Paul stuff, man, I gotta have it. You talk about the ultimate man cave. If I could find me a St. Paul's, hold on. You got an authentic St. Paul's joint like that they wore in games. How did you get that? How did you get to St. Paul's? Because I ain't gonna lie, I've been scouring the internet. You can't really find a St. Paul's nothing nowhere. So how did you get this? How did you get a St. Paul's jersey? How'd you do that? And where can I find another one? Because I want one. I'm really trying to have the ultimate CIAA man cave. Man, if I had a St. Paul's jersey, man, I'm taking. Okay. But they sold it to who? Because I was on eBay. I could not find St. Paul's nothing. Lucked out on. I was just on eBay the other day. I couldn't find nothing on St. Paul's at all. I found a lot of random stuff, but in terms of jerseys, I saw WSSU. I saw Bowie State. I ain't gonna lie, the Bowie State jersey was like $120. I was like, I don't know if I want to pay $120. I tried to offer him $50. He wasn't going for it, but I'm gonna double back on him in a little bit. I might see if he let that Bowie jersey go for about $70. You know, I ain't trying to pay $120 because I feel as though at some point I'm gonna get a Bowie jersey. I might get one for free at some point, but if not, I can get one for $50. You know, but you know, I'll figure it out. I'm not worried about getting the Bowie one. I know I can get the Bowie one at some point. The issue is, as a matter of fact, Bowie State former athletes. If you have jerseys that you want to sell, I'm in the market. Yes, when St. Paul's was closing, the last president was selling everything. That makes sense. I guess the best bet is to keep searching eBay because some of the stuff is going to pop up. I've seen so much old school CIAA stuff on eBay. At some point, I'm going to find something. But I'm telling you, Bowie State folks, if you selling, depending on what it is and the price, I'm buying. I'm buying. Don't go crazy though, man. Like seriously, that be exact. I just started. I ain't gonna lie. Going to this Union game, I just started this because when I got to the game, I couldn't believe how they were selling these old jerseys and helmets. The only reason I didn't buy a helmet is because I don't have the cave yet. So it's like, where would I put the helmet at? But if I had one, I would have bought the Union helmet as well. But I didn't buy the helmet. I do have the jersey though. I got the old Russell jersey. It's like what's the colors? It's like maroon at the top and then gray right here. The big old CIAA and Russell. I got one of them joints. Yeah, Union is selling helmets, and the helmet was only like $100. I would have got it, but it's just like I don't have nowhere to put it right now. So wifey would have been tripping. I walked to the house with a big ass helmet. Like, where you gonna put this at? But I'm gonna be real. It wasn't a whole lot of people there. Number one, it wasn't a whole lot of people buying stuff. So and Union only 2 hours from here. So I'm gonna definitely double back to Union at some point to get me the helmet because $100 can't beat it. I know, right? But when I saw, I was like, they got helmets. Only reason I was like, I don't got nowhere to put it right now. But man, I probably should have just bought it anyway and figured it out. Because who knows when you're gonna get one again. Yeah, man. I might be tripping, man. I passed up on the helmet. How often? But hold up, Eye of the Watcher. What school you went to? Did you go to Bowie? Because you say you collect CIW. Okay. I bet you probably got a crazy cave, though. I bet you probably got everything up in there, damn near. Let me tell you. If you got St. Paul's, man, that's legendary for real. But you know what? I just thought about something. I don't know if you know this, but Virginia State is having a St. Paul's night this year, a basketball night. I plan on going to that. I might be able to figure out something and work out something with the St. Paul's joint. A practice jersey from who? What school? You talking about a Bowie practice jersey? No, I want no practice jersey, man. No, I want to. If you talk about a Bowie practice, no. There's so many real jerseys out there. I can get me a real jersey. If push come to shove, that the person on eBay that's trying to hit me over the head for 120, I'm not getting one. I can't do 120. Like, you wilding. But just off the fact that the person is an alumni and they're getting rid of the jersey, and it's some of y'all probably know which one I'm talking about. It's the black jersey with the fatigue gold letters. Is that one? But it's a couple of them on eBay. It's a couple of them, but 120, he wilding. He wilding with 120. No, man. No, I feel you on that. But we stay under. Man, hold on. Hey, James, man. I might gotta send you my number because I gotta see it. I gotta see what it look like. Because depending on it's an Under Armour practice one. Depending on what it look like and what you trying to get for, we might could do something. But let me see what you're talking about. Bring back OC Moses Mayer. Do we want to come back though? That's the thing. Hold up, you have an old NCU jersey. They didn't have no numbers in the 1990s. Golly. Oh, practice jersey. Oh. You said you used to have it. What happened to it? Oh, he's not coaching at all. I'm about to look this up. Moses Mayer. But yeah, James Young. Matter of fact, I know who that is. I know exactly who. I think I know who James Young is. James Young, send me a DM on Instagram. I gotta see what the jersey look like. And and a reasonable price. Like, because I ain't gonna lie, sometimes folk be like, they be giving you unrealistic numbers. You said you had it. Oh, you got rid of. You sold it or you just threw it out? Because I ain't gonna lie to you, man. That's one regret I do have. When I was younger, I didn't realize how much I would, value stuff when I got older. And so I got it's a lot of stuff I threw out. Like I have articles that I wrote for the Bowie State newspaper about the football and the basketball team. This is way back when I was a student, when Damian Wilson was the coach. And I wrote a lot of different articles about the football team and the basketball team. And I had those articles. But at a certain point in time, you're 24, 25 years old. You just throw it out. But now I'm like, man, I wish I would have still had all my articles from the Bowie newspaper. But I don't got it. It's a bunch of stuff from Bowie, man. Looking back, I should have held on to it. Yeah, that's how it be. You younger, you're not really thinking about, I'm gonna want this when I'm older. You just kind of just getting rid of stuff. But I'm like, man, I should still have them. It's a couple of things from Bowie I should still have. I remember I was staying in CMRC for about 3 years. We had a couple of things from Bowie. I don't got none of that stuff. That stuff would go crazy in the man cave right now. But all that stuff is gone. It's like, dang, man. But yeah, James Young, send me a DM. Depending on what this jersey looking like, we might can work on something. Cause I just got the Union one. Now I done found the Bowie one. I know for sure I'm gonna get this Winston-Salem one. For sure. I'm just not gonna get it yet because listen, man. I can't spend all my money right now. It's homecoming week. I'm gonna need my funds for homecoming. But after homecoming, I'm gonna slide back on over to eBay. I'm gonna holler at homeboy and get that Winston-Salem joint. The Winston-Salem joint is once again the Russell joint. So it's like black at the top and red right here. The big OC joint gonna go crazy in the cave. What number did I get from? That's a good question. Union, I think I got Here's the thing about Union though, and this was crazy. You're not gonna believe this. You're not, because I didn't believe it when I got there. But they had helmets, number one. They also had the super old school, all maroon plain Union jerseys. Then they had the old Russell jerseys that was gray right here and maroon at the top. But then they also had some Under Armour jerseys that was a little bit more recent. And all of the jerseys was between $20 and like $50. And then the helmets was like $110, but they were all signed. Like Union had a whole, and here's the thing about Union. When I got there and I was trying to get one, they said, "What number do you want?" They had all the numbers. They had the low ones all the way up to, they had like whatever you wanted, they had it. You could have said, "Hey, I want number 10." They would have went through the stack. Like, trust me. So if you don't have any Union stuff, definitely go to Union's last home game because they got whatever you want, they got it. You got a WSSU number 94. I saw on eBay it's a couple of WSSU ones on there. It's like it's a 30-something and a 60-something. I'm not sure which one I'm gonna get, but I'm getting one of them. I'm definitely getting the Bowie one for sure. For sure. It's just a question of which one and how much I'm gonna pay for it. But I'm getting one. But here's hold up. Eye of the watcher. I got this. This is gonna tell me how good of a collector you are right here. You know what I really want? I want to find this stuff is probably not even out there. Just being real. I want to find some old CIAA baseball stuff. That's what I really want to find. I want to find some St. Paul's. If St. Aug's ever have a sale, I'm going to St. Aug's. So I'm getting some St. Aug's stuff for sure. And I want to find some CIAA baseball stuff for sure. If you got some old CIAA baseball, you a legend. You a legend for sure. I gotta find some old CIAA baseball stuff. That's what I was about to say. If you said I got it, I was about to say, how the hell did you get that? Yeah, baseball's gonna be hard. He said you want everything. I don't want everything, but I do want something from each school. I want something from each school. I got something from Union, so I can scratch them off the list. Winston-Salem is not going to be hard to find, so I can take them off the list. Bowie, I can get that. That's off the list. The question is, it's going to be, St. Aug's, Shaw, Livingstone, the rest of the conference. And then the Fallen Soldiers. That's I really do want to get some of the Fallen Soldiers. That's right. I'm not a baseball fan either, but CIAA baseball, that's part of history. So it's like old Bowie State replica jersey. That's a good question. I'm not sure because I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to the parade. If I go to the parade early, like super early, I'm going to be there early anyway because I'm going to be at the tailgate. But if I go to the parade, even earlier. So at the latest, it'll be 10 o'clock. But it might be earlier than that. But like I said, man, just send me a DM with this jersey, what it looked like, and we can do something. I figure, since I paid $30 for a Union jersey, I can play $50, $60 for a Bowie one. Just, the home team. Y'all, I'll pay the Bowie State tax. But I ain't gonna lie. Whoever that is on eBay, they was asking for like $120. I was like, $120 you wildin'. I ain't gonna lie, $120 you wildin'. But here's the thing though. I tried to get him, all right. He said 120 or highest bid. I was like, all right, let me bid 30. He shot that down real fast. I said, all right, let me come back with 55. He shut that down quick, just as fast. I said, all right, let me chill. Let me let him sit for a little bit. Cause I ain't gonna lie. The old black uniforms with the yellow fatigue, I like that jersey. That's from the time when I was around too. I like that one, but I don't like it for $120. I ain't gonna lie. I don't like it for $120. I can't do that. But yeah. So let's go ahead and put a bow on this one. Let's wrap it up. You've seen some of the names I looked at for OC. Not gonna lie to you. It could be tough to fill the position with somebody who's actually good at the job, or somebody who's actually experienced. That could be tough. Could be. But we'll see what happens. Right now, the focus is you got to win homecoming against Elizabeth City. That has to happen. Can't lose that game. Got to get that win for sure. We're going to talk about specifically that game. Let's see. Today's Sunday. Either tomorrow or Tuesday. We'll get right into the ECSU game. Tomorrow or Tuesday, one or the other. Because I got to go back and look. How they put up all them points on Saturday? What was they doing? Because, hey, we got, But, hey, man, I appreciate y'all coming through. Once again, if you come across some old CIAA paraphernalia hey, send me a DM. Depending on what it is, I want it. If it's some St. Paul's, I definitely want it. Bowie State, definitely. Anyway, I appreciate y'all coming through. We'll go ahead and get up out of here. Since we're talking about old nostalgia, I'm going to leave y'all with this one.